Do you feel like playing with the genre, the superhero genre in this way, kind of bringing in these elements of noir and the elements of police procedurals is even more relevant today because of the rise of superhero movies and TV shows? There's so much of it out there that to give this different lens on it is kind of even more important in a television show now.
Well, you know, talking about the 15-year journey, I think that's what helped us get on the air. Because when Powers debuted as a comic book, it was speaking to the audience that knew all the rules of the superhero genre. They knew them all, they've seen them all from Watchmen, Dark Knight, all the way through. So when we flipped the angle, when we started showing it from a different point of view, they were ready for it because show me something else, right? So during all our ups and downs in development, that was one of the questions. Will the audience understand? Do they and now they do. They've seen every superhero movie. There's 15 TV shows with Flash and Arrow and blah, blah, blah. So here we come in almost the same role as we ended up in comics. By the way, I didn't know this in comics. I found out later that's why this one worked, is because of this. And so now here we come on the heels of all these shows that are very good shows, but I would tell you, the Flash, they're never going to kill the Flash and do an autopsy. It's never going to happen. You're going to have to come to us for that. So it's cool.
Is he in danger?
There's kind of a normalcy of making it. That was exciting to me from a viewership point of view. I was curious to see a world where, even as a fan of the genre, where it's like, well, this guy just, there's powers are prevalent in the world, and this guy can just levitate, 3 feet off the ground. That's all he does. It's like, that's not, that's it.
He's like a D-list celebrity.
It's just what are you going to do with that? You're just going to annoy people and show off and get arrested. It's, or this guy breathes a little bit of fire, or this, so they're not all these incredible superheroes too, which creates, I think, all sorts of interesting story possibilities.
Even people with powers are striving to have more powers. People without powers, how do they live a life? Like, what's the world like? And that's what the book had. And that's what the show has. It's like, how would superheroes actually affect the world, sociologically?
What would actually happen if you could fly? Would you fight crime just because you can fly? Probably not.
And if you couldn't, would you? How would sex be for you? What is sex like in a world with a Superman? You know what I mean? Like if people are fantasizing.
This is the conversation we wanted to get into.
Yeah, this is what we were hoping we would.
But people are fantasizing about gods, and you're down here with whatever. It's a fascinating sociological thing. And also it's like our world. We talk about Beyonce every day. We're not going to see Beyonce today. None of us are going to, but you hear her name 8 times a day. This is the culture. Instead of Beyonce, it's Retro Girl, it's superheroes,
But it's interesting though, because there's actually, to me, no offense to Beyonce, but more to admire about a person.
Because Beyonce can't fly.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, but with Retro Girl,
you don't know that. Well, you don't know.
She's flying into hurricanes and choosing to use her powers in that way, which is an interesting thing that culturally that would be admired. You know. Yeah.
Yes, but you have this very difficult thing which my character wrestles with of power corrupts. That classic saying, the power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely kind of thing. If you can do whatever you like, how far does your ego kind of run away with itself? And this is my guy, back in the day when he was the kind of star of all stars almost, and he's lost that power now. He wants it back, and maybe wants to get some of the things right that he got wrong back then.
It's funny when he's talking about his past, he's saying we wanted to get together and we wanted to do something with our powers and be heroes. But then you find out he's this rock star who's sleeping with people and doing these crazy things.
Dude, it's like this. It's like every rap singer or every person's like, I just used to play in bars and I just got into it for the music. And it's like, well, now you fly private planes and whatever. It's like, and it's both true. Both things are true. It's like, yes, you did. There was, and there is probably still a pure part of you that is just doing it for the music. But then there's also you digging the groupies, obviously, and and the drugs or whatever else you're doing.
But the two aren't mutually exclusive, right? You can be a great person and a great leader, and then also have flaws, and you must because you're a person, right? Ultimately, I thought one of the interesting things that your character said was, you don't want to be like this. The powers are kind of stunted emotionally and otherwise because they're relying so much on their powers. Are we going to see that play out? That idea? Is he a better man now that he's powerless?
I mean, yes, I suppose in a certain way. This character had something that appealed to me very much. You very rarely see it in writing nowadays, but it's known. Anybody who knows about script writing, for example, in film or whatever, there's an idea of what's the worst thing that can happen to this character that turns out to be the best thing. If you write a character that has that, you almost guaranteed have an interesting, compelling character. And this is definitely asking that question of, well, you lost your powers, it would seem to be the worst thing that could happen to a superhero. Could it be the best thing? You know, the pain of that, whatever. You know, your person gets divorced or something in a relationship. It's like, it seems like the worst thing at the time, but somewhere innately in us, we know that it's the real adversity that comes in life that usually makes us grow. And so, hopefully it does for him. We'll see.
And if it's the best thing, can you as a person get to the place where you see it that way?
Yes.
Because that's a whole
other people might say, but look on the bright side, and you're just like, I just want to fly.
Yeah, that's the bright side,